6 Eastern, and we might find out some big decisions this weekend, as the biggest decisions lie within guys like LeBron James, James Harden, Julius Randle, who have to opt into their player option by Sunday, or they can sign anywhere. Other notable names available include bigs Naz Reid and Miles Turner, and then guards Cam Thomas, Malik Beasley, and Chris Paul. Let's welcome in our NBA front office insider, Bobby Marks. And obviously we saw LeBron on that list, but he's not likely really to opt out, right, and move out of LA. So what moves should we expect the Lakers to maybe do to help LeBron?
Well, they're going to prioritize certainly going after a center this offseason. They tried to do that at the deadline when they acquired Mark Williams, and of course that trade was rescinded. And Rob Pelinka, their general manager, has been upfront. We need center help. We need a lob threat for Luka Doncic. How do they go out and get that center? It's going to be dependent on the $5.7 million tax mid-level exception. That's what they have to use in free agency. Remember also they have over $60 million in expiring contracts to go out and potentially use in a trade. They've got a first-round pick in 2031. One of the names that was not on our list is Dorian Finney-Smith. He also has a player option if Finney-Smith opts out of his contract. That gives the Lakers a lot more money to go out and get one of those centers in free agency.
Which they need to do. They only won one playoff game this past season, so obviously there are moves that need to be made in that Western Conference. Let's go to the East now. Wide open, so many injuries impacting multiple contenders. And so which team do you anticipate being?
And ESPN's way too early NBA power rankings. Guys, let's look at the West Coast. Notice the Warriors coming at number 8. And number 9, we have the Lakers. So, obviously, Bob, former GM of the Warriors, and we're going to bring in Markieff Morris, who's currently on the Lakers roster, and I want to focus in on California here. Do the Lakers or Warriors need to make a bigger splash, Keith?
I would say the Warriors, right? And I wouldn't really call it a bigger splash. They just need to figure out what they're going to do with Kuminga, right? Are they going to keep growing him and make him an integral part of this team, or are they going to keep playing the up and down? You're not ready, you don't fit game. I think that's the main focus with the Warriors. Like you have to re-sign them and go get some assets to be able to fit around these guys, or you just have to just let them go and teach them more how to play with these guys. I mean, obviously it seems like it doesn't work at times, so I think that's the big thing. Obviously, everybody know the Lakers need a big, and that's the most important thing for them. They don't need to move too many core pieces around because about a month ago, people were picking the Lakers to win the championship. So I don't think they should, just erase that part of the team. Just bring in the big, and it's obviously the Warriors with Kuminga. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think it's easier for the Warriors. I like what Markieff said because they have Kuminga in their control, right? So you can either keep him, and they have the ability to do that, or sign and trade him and decide if they get something back. So they have an easier ability if it's about Kuminga, because he's probably the easiest piece to elevate the Warriors, because Butler, we know what he's going to do, and Draymond and Curry, obviously, and Podziemski. They've got all these guys around him. I think the team is well built. But Kuminga is kind of that X factor. He's been talked about for, you've talked about him, Stephen, quite a bit of what he can be. But if he's not going to be, then what can you get for him? The Lakers is, I think, tougher fix. It's easy. We can sit here and we can also, Lakers need a big. Okay. As a GM, you go, okay, yeah. Okay, now what? Right? They had the idea of trading for Mark Williams, and they offered up quite a bit. And they decided that wasn't a good idea, and the medicals didn't look right. But I can't sit here and say it's easy to go get a big right now that can actually impact winning, that Luka Doncic wants to run the pick and roll with, and LeBron James, that they can play at the 5. The Lakers team wore down because Jack said, they stopped playing a 5. And LeBron at the 5 can work. It's like Draymond. These guys, it wears you out. LeBron's a fantastic player, but him at the 5 is very tiresome. Mm-hmm. So how are they going to go get a 5 that actually impacts them for a team that has championship aspirations? That is easier said than done.
They're holding vastly different hands. The Warriors have up to 4 first-round picks they can trade. They've got pretty much their whole portfolio. But they've also got 3 star players in their mid to late 30s.
And they already gave up a first, right? They
don't have a pick tonight.
Trade. They don't have a pick tonight.
Yeah, right. But they have their picks going forward.
Yeah.
The Lakers, their sort of franchise player is in his 20s, Luka. But they don't have the same portfolio of picks. They have like 1 pick and 1 swap that they can trade. Now, they do have some expiring salary. But the Warriors are under more pressure to do something now Whereas I think the Lakers, in theory, could take a little bit more time. Now, LeBron doesn't want that. LeBron wants them to make a play now. And by the way, that seems to be their intention. They have made that clear. And the one thing that they've got is August 2nd, they have to offer Luka a contract.
4 years, $229 million.
He doesn't have to
That's
take
what
it
he
all.
said. He doesn't have to take it. That's what he's eligible for.
What do you think he's going to do? Take it.
Yeah, I think he's
I know he's going to take some version of
going to
it.
take 3 years.
Listen, here's my deal. Here's my deal.
I think it'll be a little lower.
Yeah, hold on, Keith. Here's the deal. So if you're the Los Angeles Lakers, right? You need a big. You just need a big. We know this, okay? I got to think about it. The Mark Williams trade didn't pan out. Obviously, they were willing to trade Dalton Connect, and that didn't work out. What have you? Failed his physical, supposedly. So, ironically, they don't have a first-round pick tonight. They have the number 55 second-round pick.
Their pick tonight,
we'll leave that alone.
Is in Atlanta for Anthony Davis. Tonight, the Anthony Davis trade finally gets paid
There we go, right? So now here you have it. You got the Al Horfords of the world, the Lou Cornettes of the world. They're not the only team that need a big, but they desperately need a big. Here's what I would tell you got to watch out for the Los Angeles Lakers. That's why the Lakers would be my answer to this question instead of the Warriors. Dallas is not going away. They're coming. You do not want to be in a situation where you acquired Luka Doncic and Dallas looks better than you. That's a motivation. That's a motivation right there. You can't have that Dallas flourishing and the Lakers going home in the first round when you made that move. Now, I understand for business purposes, okay, Luka's going to sell. And you got a new billionaire owner. He purchased the franchise for $10.1 billion, okay? I got that part. I get all of it. But in the end, just like we said about Dallas, Luka can't be thriving, but Dallas home watching them. They'll want to do some harm to some people, Nico included, okay? That can't happen. And it's in reverse, too. If you Luka with the Lakers, you don't want to be home.
So you might say
Dallas
Jaylen
is ascending. That's what we have to watch out for. That's why I would say the Lakers.
But we didn't know the Cooper flag was going to come, so you can't hold that part against.
No, what I'm saying to you is that if you're the Lakers,
no, I
with
get
Luka
it, but I'm saying
Doncic, you don't want that.
Some things landed their way.
As the famous meme goes, we don't care.
Okay, you got to do something. I mean, if somebody trades for you, okay, and they say you can leave, and they're thriving without you, and you're not thriving where you are. That's not good.
Yeah.
That's not good. You got to make sure that don't happen.
Fair enough. All right, we got to go, guys. When we come back here on First Take, it was a thunderous reception. It's going to be a good time. Can't wait for 50 states in 50 days. That kicks off today. Out in L.A., Austin Reaves has turned down a 4-year, $89.2 million extension. The Lakers made the offer expecting Reaves to decline, but wanted to show interest in their guard. If Reaves chooses to opt out of the final year of his current contract, he'll be eligible for an even larger sum. So despite declining, both sides remain motivated to find a deal next summer. Tim McMahon, we got more folks crashing our party. Joe Fortenbaugh live from Vegas, clearly evidenced by his outfit. He's set for the big UFC fight. We'll get into that a little bit later with DC and Peter Rosenberg in the building. By the way, I saw you at Fanatics, but you had already walked by me, so I didn't get to say hi. And you had your baby with you.
Oh, you know how cool you would have made me, the cred you would have given me for a Molly Karam hello at Fanatics Fest, but I forgive you.
All right. Peter, tell me this. Do the Lakers currently have enough to be contenders?
I'm going to go with yes. And I think it's going to be very popular this offseason to talk about the demise. I see you shaking your head, Tim, all the way out there, wherever you are.
Dallas?
Dallas, exactly. And I'm not surprised to hear it, but I don't have some sort of incredible math that is my reason, Molly. My reason is you have a team that's led by LeBron James and Luka Doncic. And this year, at least, we'll have Austin Reaves. 3 great players up top, including maybe the greatest of all time and maybe the most talented offensive player in the league right now, Luka Doncic. We can all act as if it's impossible that they could get there. But we also just saw the Indiana Pacers take the Oklahoma City Thunder to 7 games. So let's not act as great as OKC is, and they are a great team. They were taken to 7 games 2 times throughout the playoffs, including, did anybody realistically think about the Indiana Pacers challenging and making it to a 7th game for the NBA Finals? So I'm sorry, no, I cannot rule out